today on the Tinkering Geek, I've got some more rolling stock and locomotives to add into my inventory. So I thought I would take the opportunity to go over a Canadian model railroading classic, the PC Insider Express train sets. Most Canadians have probably seen these sets, at least at train shows, if they aren't old enough to remember when they actually came out. These were done as a Christmas toy for the Loblaw's chain of stores and all their affiliated brands. There were 11 kits in total from the years of 1992 to 2006. I myself have 8 of them. There were also 2 building kits released at one point. These are all made by Mihano of Slovenia. And they're, most of them are Canadian locomotives, either CN or CP. There were a few that were done in the President's Choice own brand. A lot of the cars contain promotional imagery and to promote products that they had on offer at the time. They were pretty nice kits. They generally sold for around $100. Which is pretty good considering that you get a decent steam locomotive, a number of cars, as well as track and a power pack. They are not perfectly prototypical. There are a lot of people out there that have done work to detail them properly to make them exactly on the prototypes. I've never felt the need to do that. They're pretty nice as they are. Definitely for the price point. I know as a teenager and a young adult, they were about the best steam locomotive I could afford. So I very much look forward to these coming out. As I mentioned, they came out kind of irregularly, and I don't have all of them. There were 11 kits in total. I have 8 of them. This one here is the my first one, which was the 1993, so the second year that they put out. It features, if we read the box here, a 260 Mogul steam locomotive with attached tender, 1 reefer car, 1 tank car, 1 box car, 1 gondola car, 1 caboose, quality brass track. Of course, that is a thing. Most of these kits came with brass track. Some of the later ones I do believe have nickel silver. We will have a look. And they did have a power pack. Power packs are great too, just for kind of messing around with. Of course, these are not DCC, which is probably a conversion I will make at some point in the future. So we will crack these open here. Most of these have already been opened, so you know I'm not. Actually, I think all of these have already been opened, so I'm not devaluating a collector's item or anything like that. And I do want to get them photographed for my inventory. So this one, the box is in pretty rough shape. I'm pretty sure this one I got off of eBay or some other method of second hand. We'll do some more up-close shots too. Yeah, this one's definitely been out of the box anyway because it's quite dusty. As I said, for the price that they came out at, the detail on them is pretty nice. Not an exact prototype, but you know what? For the average person, they'll do pretty well. They do have the horn and hook coupler. That's something else probably over time I will change. There is, if you can see, I'll show some closer shots later. There is power from the tender, which is a nice feature to have. Some of these too, this one doesn't, but some of them also do have the smoke units in them as well. One of the challenges I am going to have when adding these to my inventory, the way that I set it up, is that the cars actually need a car number, and most of these branded ones don't actually have a car number, so I'm going to have to come up with a bit of a creative solution for that, but that's my own programming. having a look at the second set. Now, this is the first one I actually remember getting brand new. I specifically asked for this for Christmas. So this was the 97 year set. It comes with a very, very nice, in my opinion, Mountain Locomotive 482 in CN. This kit also comes with actually CN hoppers. So they're actually lettered and numbered for CN or hoppers, I believe. And the only thing that's actually branded PC is the caboose, which is kind of nice because, yeah, if for around $100 that these things were, you've got a fairly nice train set for an affordable price. Also show on this one, it had some information on the back, gives some information about the locomotive itself and what comes in the set. It says it's a 22-ounce power pickup from tender, quick disconnect electrical plug, operating headlight, operating automatic backup light, heavy-duty can motor, precision machined coated brass flywheel, functional nickel silver plated coined brass driving rods and valve gear, metal boiler, hand railings, metal grab irons and stuff. So yeah, pretty nice all in all. This is the next one. This was 1998. I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but the plastic's really yellowed over it. But this was a CP Camelback 260. This one too actually came with a really nice, once again, actual like branded CP cars as opposed to being promotional cars for President's Choice. Once again, making these a very nice addition to a layout. The only thing, once again, is the President's Choice caboose, which in this case is 15-year anniversary of the Insider report, which is kind of their catalog, their seasonal flyer. Which of course this was in and kind of part of the promotion. This one again has the image and information on the back. Yeah, I'm not a CP modeler, and you know, the Camelback isn't my favorite, but this is a very nice kit. Especially the little log car is really nicely detailed. I believe that's actually real wood as well. So yeah, it's still a very nice set. Next one. Now this one, they started to change up the design a little bit. So this was 1999. You can see that they no longer have it open on the back, or on the front, sorry. You actually have to flip it over, and there's the windowed portion. But they've got this nice, big, beautiful graphic. This one, as I mentioned, I am a CN modeler, so CP is kind of always second fiddle, but 462, it's a beautiful locomotive, especially with the gray and maroon. Is a very nice paint scheme, in my opinion, of CP's. This is semi-streamlined Pacific locomotive with functioning headlight. Yeah, so let's flip it around and have a look at the cars it came with. Once again, this is one that doesn't have PC branded cars, which really in the history of the set is yeah, I guess it's probably about 50-50, but we'll have a look as we get to some of the newer ones. So the locomotive, and this one's a whole string of tank cars, and then once again with the PC branded caboose. This one's even got the store sticker there from a Zayres market. Its brands probably don't mean anything for American viewers, but most Canadians are probably familiar with it. So that's another one of the sets. Now this is hands down got to be one of my all-time favorites. So this is the 6060 Bullet-nosed Express. So this has the bullet-nosed mountain locomotive. Once again, came with CN cars. Also, the green and gold, one of my favorite paint schemes. Very nicely done. Once again, not the most detailed cars, but for the price point and something that you got at a grocery store, I just love this one. Ooh, shifting. So we flip it around. We have, actually let's read the box if I can read it upside down here. Uniquely designed collector's quality 482 U1F semi-streamlined mountain class steam locomotive with functioning headlight. Once again, if you look closely, it's not perfect, but these are customized. If you have a look even now, you can see that Mehano, which is mainly sold in Europe, they are sold in North America under the IHC brand. They have similar locomotives, but not these exact ones. So these were custom runs for President's Choice, which makes them lovely little collector's pieces. And there are some people that definitely do collect these. We've got a through baggage box car, a express refrigerator box car, a tank car, a hopper, and President's Choice Biologic. That's their organic, but in French, which that was not how it said in French, but I'm sure somebody can correct me. This would be the 2001 set. And yeah, as I said, absolutely, hands down, one of my favorites. Next, we have the Yard Bull, which, reading the back, cheating here a little bit, is a 080 subclass? Not sure that's quite right. But it's a 080 switcher. It's in CN again. Works out very nicely for me. Not so much for the CP guys, sorry. This one too came with hoppers again. Flip it around here in a second and show you. This was the 2002 year. This was kind of right in the heart of some of their best kits in my opinion. So 5 of the hoppers. I'm pretty sure these are all different numbers than came with the mountain set earlier. Locomotive up here, and this one's also a little interesting because it's actually a CNR caboose, but it's also branded President's Choice, which actually makes my life a little easier because it's got a number, so I'll be able to put it in my inventory easier. I'm not sure if I've missed any of the ones yet that actually have the smoke built in. I haven't actually been looking for that. When I take them out of the box, though, I'll definitely be able to tell you. So this one. So they skipped a few years, so this was actually the 2005. This is probably my second favorite next to the Bullet Nose. This one, the branding kind of got a little weird in my opinion. They're trying to promote their mini chef products, which, if I remember correctly, were they're like children's line of crackers, cookies, all that kind of stuff. But once again, absolutely gorgeous locomotive. I don't think that Mihano has any other ones with the smoke lifters, the elephant ears, whatever you want to call them, which makes this just an absolute gem. It's also not something you see all that common, especially in CN, at least without going to the brass in my experience. So a model modern, yeah, these probably aren't going to get an awful lot of use, but man, it's nice to have in the collection. So that's a uniquely designed collector's quality 464 Class K5A Hudson. Yeah, it comes with some of the mini chef freight cars, which we'll flip around and show you here. So that's quite the colorful assortment. These, once again, we run into the problem. Yeah, they're probably not ever going to run those freight cars on my layout, but you know, for collecting purposes, it's nice to have. Actually, another thing I'm actually just noticing, so this is the 10th edition, and on the bottom, they actually have, let's see if I can get this up to the camera and in focus, and no glare. There's actually a list of the previous kits at the bottom. Bunch of the earlier ones I don't have. Yeah, so things like the 1992 one was all PC branded, and I would really like to get the 94 one some point, but we'll see. They do come up on eBay, as I said, for affordable steam locomotive set. These are really hard to beat. So this was the last one that they produced, at least so far. Anybody from President's Choice, if you're watching, please make more of these. So this was 2006. This was the Big Ten Express. It is a Santa Fe Type 210-2. This one also comes with the ore hoppers, which is, once again, I believe they are all different numbers, but we'll check that in a little bit here. So if we flip it around, there's the set. This box, I actually kind of like it. It comes with this kind of blueprint bit down here and explains, reading upside down, which is always fun. Built by the Canadian Locomotive Works for the Canadian National Railway in 1924, this Big Ten, known as the Battleship on Wheels, was the largest freight locomotive ever owned by the CNR. Yeah. So it's, once again, a very nice model. I'm happy to have it in my collection. PC caboose as well. Actually, if you happen to look behind me, I've got a whole bunch I've picked up in various things at train shows over the years. More of the cabooses, they're, you know, they're basic. But, yeah, the rest of the sets are really nice, so I'm not too picky on the cabooses. Okay, so we'll have a bit of a closer look at these. This is the 260 Mogul for CN. This is my earliest set. So it's pretty nice little model. This one's set up with, it looks like an oil tender, if I'm not mistaken. Get it nice and close. So it's you know, equivalent to anything from like a Bachmann set or anything like that. Certainly not on like brass level or anything like that, so don't expect that. But pretty nice. So this one actually can even see on the bottom, it's got the Mihano branding. Hopefully that's in focus. Made in Slovenia. All in all, really, I'm pretty impressed with their stuff. They're considered somewhat of a value brand, but I'm not entirely sure that reputation is wholly deserved. As I said, they don't hold a candle to brass, but you know, if you're looking for something on the affordable side, they're fairly nice locomotives. Not the greatest pulling strength either. That is, I guess, one other downside. But they, bang for buck, they got my vote. So I'm not going to pull out all of these branded cars because, as I said, I can't really put them in my inventory. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to keep track of them. Probably just as a whole set. But I did want to kind of show you. They're not stellar. They are your kind of standard kit fare cars, as I said. Plastic wheels, horn and hook on the trucks. But yeah, they're, for what you're paying for the whole set, they're not too bad. Especially some of the ones that aren't branded for President's Choice products are quite usable. They're quite serviceable cars. Moving on here, we have, this is the CN Mountain 482. This one is one of the ones I think it is the one I have had the longest. It was one of the first ones I got brand new. I have done a little detailing. This is, or at least it was sold to me as actual honest-to-goodness coal, which I have added to the tender to give it a little bit of pop. The logo is actually a little bit metallic, which is, I think, a nice touch. You can see on this one, it needs a little bit of repair here. At some point, the wires got yanked out of the connector, but it does have a disconnect from the tender to locomotive. I'll grab my little foam here so I can give you a good view. So yeah, all in all, once again, pretty nice locomotive. Passable level of details, or at least by my standards. Okay, so I'll show the kind of the whole kit, as it were. So these are the plastic trays that they come in. Not the greatest packaging, but honestly, they seem to have survived from, well, Slovenia to Canada and across Canada in my case. So obviously they've held up okay. This one I do like. Yeah, so those are actual little pieces of wood with a chain around it. It's very light. I can pretty much guarantee it's not NMRA standards, but it's a good looking car in my opinion. I'd definitely take a couple more of those. Be good for my NAR in the 30s and 40s logging train. More on that in a later video, by the way. So that's, I'm actually not entirely sure. I'm guessing that's a cattle car? I'm not sure. It's a vented car of some kind. I'm sure somebody can correct me in the comments. Nice little tank car. Once again, compared to, you know, the really new high fluting stuff, the grab irons aren't really super fine, but yeah, they're actually pretty nice little cars. Once again, not very heavy either, but in this area you shouldn't be hauling really long trains. That is definitely a cattle car. Okay, maybe not. Pigs? Pork? I don't know. It's got a deck in there. Once again, somebody let me know in the comments. But yeah, these are definitely a little bit earlier cars, especially well, definitely compared to modern. But yeah, not bad. Our President's Choice caboose, and the star of the show, CP Camelback. that in the frame here. Whoop. There it is. Actually, let's just move a few things. So I'm pretty sure this is the first one. Yeah, it is. So this one's got a smoke generator in it. There were a few that they shipped with that. It's also got a swinging metal bell. I think the Mountain had that. Of course, I've already put it away. But yeah, not... I always thought these are kind of awkward looking locomotives, but it's a very neat model. Not actually entirely sure if CP had ones exactly like this. Not overly familiar with the Camelbacks at all. And if I remember correctly, this screw on the front is actually how you turn the... oh, there we go. This screw on the front is actually how you turn on or off the smoke generator. That actually even looks like an LED to me for a headlight, which is... that would make this before its time, for sure, for its era. Put in the cradle here, try to get a nice shot. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, so this one, split tray, and it actually has all the parts, including really disintegrating elastic. So kind of shows you how it all came. A lot of the other ones I've taken the track and stuff out over the years. So it came with power packs like these. Brass track. Yeah, not a bad little setup. Little instruction sheet. So, have a look at these ones. So these are the tank cars. Once again, none too shabby. Not spectacular, but certainly not bad. So, setting aside the rest of it for a minute, have a look here at the locomotive. So this is the Canadian Pacific 462, and that is, so it's called a Streamline Pacific. Or at least that's what they call in a box. I'd have to look it up to remember for sure. But yeah, the maroon and gray paint scheme, which I think looks pretty sharp on this. I believe, yep, tender pickup. This one does not have the smoke generator. So we'll zoom it in here for a little bit of a closer look. Yeah, so not a bad locomotive at all in this set. It's again branded Mihano. Swiveling metal bell. Always found those entertaining when I was younger. Let's be honest, I still find them amusing. So, now we are on to the Bullet-nose Mountain. As I mentioned previously, one of my all-time favorites, if not my all-time favorite. This one too I had on display for many, many years and ran on my old layout. So that one has the upgraded coal as well, which I will probably do to some of the others, depending. This one also is the one that came with some of the other green and gold CN cars, which was kind of nice. So let's have a little bit of a closer look at the locomotive before we go too much farther. A little too big to have zoomed in all the way, I guess. So, nice with the, I believe these are called the Vanderbilt tenders. A different nose cap, which looks pretty nice. Number boards. Love the green and gold. Yeah, you can definitely tell it was run. There's ground foam grass in the running gear. Oh, And I did dust it too before I turned on the camera. Goes to show this was actually a run locomotive. Let's have a quick look here. So you got the Canadian National reefer. And through baggage. Also has a black tank car and a larger hopper. So this is the CN Yard Bull set. It's a 080. Another nice little kit. This one came with some more of these hoppers. I kind of glazed over these before. Just like all the rest, you know, not bad, not fantastic. If you are looking for a bunch of ore hoppers, though, you know, there's been 3 sets of 5 at least of these. Gives you lots of car numbers, so it's a good place to start. This is also the set that comes with the actual, it's actually labeled Canadian National with a Canadian National number and the Maple Leaf logo, which is a little bit different. It's not just an all PC branded caboose, which is yeah, kind of a nice little change of pace. It's pretty basic. You can kind of see the wood grain and stuff on the top walkways. Nothing to write home about, but it's a cute little caboose. Have a little bit of a closer look here at the locomotive. So last but not least, we have the Big Ten Express. And this is the Santa Fe class locomotive. It is a 210-2. A little bit smaller drivers than the Mountains, but still a very large locomotive. It's got some really nice details on the boiler of this one, including, I believe this is a steam preheater. I'm not entirely sure. Sure somebody can correct me in the comments. I love steam locomotives, but I'm not overly well versed in all the details. So this was the last PC kit that they issued. I think they definitely did a nice job on this one. Another Vanderbilt tender. It's got the two-tone with the wood deck up front, and compared to something like the caboose, it's got much better wood grain. It's not perfect, but it's quite passable in my opinion anyway. Very nice. I think it looks very sharp in the all black. Overall, it's a pretty large locomotive. I'll have to go back to a slightly wider shot here. And this set as well came with the ore hoppers, which we've seen before. Alright, well that concludes my collection of the PC Insiders Express train sets from Loblaws and their associated stores. So if you liked that video, please hit that thumbs up. I'm sure you'll see more of these locomotives in the future, as I probably will be putting DCC in at least some of them. Hey, feel free to write your local Loblaws and tell them that they should do more of these sets, because I kind of miss them. It was a nice little treat to myself at Christmas. Anyway, hit that subscribe button, and if you aren't already, follow me on Instagram as well as Twitter, and you can always check out my website at tinkeringgeek.com. And until next time, keep tinkering.